The Surfing Violinist presents A Musician's Metamorphosis, Violin Vlog 49. Some years back, I saw a video detailing Elton John's practice of going to a record store and stocking up on records like he was a head chef buying ingredients for the restaurant's busiest week of the year. It was like supermarket sweep with records. At the time, I didn't appreciate just how admirable this approach to his life's work was. Not just for inspiration's sake, and not just for market research's sake. It's not just good business nor idle curiosity. It displays the kind of humility and dedication to craft that sets a musician apart from a one-hit wonder. In the December vlog, I talked about how audience song requests have really been a source of inspiration and revelation, how some songs I would never have considered covering on violin ended up surprising me with how well they work not just on violin, but as songs. But in the months since, I've been beginning to consciously recognize another form of inspiration that has been staring me in the face my whole life. Or perhaps it's better to say shouting in my ear. Because the world we live in is an almost incessant barrage of conflicting soundtracks. From gas stations to bookstores to coffee shops to parking lots, we're constantly exposed to someone's idea of good music. Growing up as a classical music kid who listened to Christian music, I was a real self-righteous nerd about the state of modern music. I thought I was too good for all this noise, and even now I find myself rolling my eyes when I hear what I write off as babbling hyperpop or blubbering mumble rap or whimpering trust fund country. But a real musician wouldn't do this. A real musician is, as Master Yi in League of Legends would say, an eternal student. And what my precocious, cantankerous snob younger self would have called noise pollution, a real musician would call a gold mine. What Elton John had to go and shop for and spend a princely sum to obtain, you and I have access to non-stop everywhere. The hipster word cell hears a pop culture cacophony as a dystopian nightmare, but the musician realizes it is a harmonic gold mine. So as I've mentioned before, the number one app I rely upon to whip out cover requests in the moment is musicnotes.com, which provides me not only with the sheet music, but also a MIDI backing track, which is not performance grade per se, but most people doing the requesting just want to listen, hum, or even sing along to the melody, so the backing track has not been the issue I thought it would be initially. Music Notes is not sponsoring this video. I do have a pro plan, but still pay $3.99 per song cover. Usually people's tip will cover the cost of the request, and my cover library expands as a result. I was shocked to discover that in January alone, I purchased 61 songs from Music Notes. Many of these were again requests while playing gigs at Bergen Barrel. On Friday, January 3rd, a delightful couple was sitting at the couch by the window and asked to hear Yanni, so I found In the Morning Light, and they seemed to really enjoy it. He even filmed one of my better passes at Hotel California. Bergen Barrel's manager, Asia, suggested I do some Sabrina Carpenter or Olivia Rodrigo when groups of younger ladies are out in force, and while I'm still not quite figuring out the best way to adapt Carpenter's work to violin, Olivia Rodrigo's Vampire ended up working pretty well. On Saturday, January 4th, a mother asked if I would play some Taylor Swift for her daughter, so I tried either Cruel Summer or I Forgot That You Existed, or maybe both of them, I can't remember, and then did my old standard, the Bridgerton version of Wildest Dreams. They seemed to get a kick out of it. And Saturday the 4th was rounded out with a request resulting in me playing the Battle of New Orleans and getting rickrolled, which works about like you'd expect. The next Saturday, requests were all over the place, ranging from the Casablanca song to Tony Bennett to Mumford & Sons, Pink Floyd, and the Outlander song. Bergen Barrel bartender Devon has been my right-hand request muse, suggesting some of the most frequented standards I have in my current list, which ranges from Sam Smith to Ed Sheeran to Zach Bryan to Leon Bridges. On that second weekend in January, he asked if I could play some Ray LaMontagne, and since then, Such a Simple Thing has become one of my favorites. On Friday, January 17th, the bartender crew suggested Billie Eilish, and once again, they're getting a real knack for what works on violin because Ocean Eyes is a perfect fit. And then someone asked for a song from the hairband Tesla, which I did not think would work at all, but it went over well, and they were stoked I tried it. On Saturday, January 18th, I got a Journey request and Cher's Believe. I think Cher's works a bit better for violin. On Friday, January 24th, I finally got a request for Bohemian Rhapsody, which worked way better than Freebird anyway. Still a novelty gag, but it was fun. People were good-humored about it. Friday, January 31st, began with a trio of ladies who went back to roots with requests ranging from Dvorak to Schubert to opera. It was quite refreshing. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, it's not just audience inspiration that can serve as a guide through the treasure trove of music ideas that are flying past us all the time, My kids have been binging Community, and in one episode, Irving Berlin's Blue Sky was used, which I knew from Lana Del Rey's cover, in the Christian Dior biopic series The New Look, but it hit me maybe I should try covering it on violin, and like so many of those big band era showpieces, it's great. Sometimes the inspiration is a bit more melancholy. To commemorate David Lynch's passing, I played Laura Palmer's theme and the Twin Peaks theme at Bergen Barrel, and sometimes it's literally just sitting in Starbucks and hearing what comes on a playlist. I picked up quite a few hits from all manner of genres this month just while getting ready to type these scripts. And in addition to the Bergen Barrel crew's input, their choices in playlists have really been a boon. So many of the jazz and indie and chamber music pop cover playlists have introduced me to new songs and new versions of songs I've never noticed before. In January, I decided to start a dive into James Bond, reading Ian Fleming's first novel, Casino Royale, and watching all of the Daniel Craig versions. My favorite Bond theme has been Chris Cornell's from Casino Royale for quite some time, and I've been covering Adele's Skyfall, which works really well on violin. But I was really impressed with Sam Smith's Writings on the Wall for Spectre and Billie Eilish's No Time to Die for No Time to Die. And since hearing them both, I've been covering them often, and they fit violin very well. And here's where the goldmine part comes into play. At the end of the Daniel Craig Bond franchise, spoiler, he says to Lydia Sardou's character, "You'll have all the time in the world." When she, in turn, tells their daughter, "Let me tell you a story about a man. His name was Bond, James Bond," the music rises to a flourish and gives way to the credits with Louis Armstrong singing the words, "We have all the time in the world." Shazammed it and was shocked to realize Louis Armstrong sang the Bond theme for the 1971 film on Her Majesty's Secret Service. James Bond is the quintessential incarnation of the phenomena I'm describing in this video. Except for a brief infatuation with Casino Royale and a love of Nintendo 64's video game version of GoldenEye, I have mocked the James Bond brand mercilessly. My default stance has been one of hipster derision. Well, this rewatch has finally put this sour grapes, couch potato snobbery to rest, because I fell in love not just with two pop stars James Bond songs in the course of this deep dive, but seeing the franchise get the Louis Armstrong signature stamp brought all the pieces together. I cover Armstrong songs probably more than anyone else's. I play on average 5 or 6 of his songs a night at Bergen Barrel. When I fell in love with Melissa, she was a big Louis Armstrong fan, and I think we may have slow danced to Louis the first time we ever danced. Armstrong is the kind of figure that transcends genre and fits the vibe of my favorite venue so well, so it's neat to see that two of the most popular singers I cover on violin, who I'd otherwise have mocked mercilessly in my classical kid cynicism, shared a coveted spot alongside one of my most treasured musical heroes, and alongside one of my favorite rock singers from my era. And the thing is, even after all of my years of reclusive musical cynicism, I don't have any problem admitting that I like all 4 of these songs equally. Pop culture is cool. I only had to get over my early onset midlife crisis to admit it. At least it wasn't terminal. Until next time, keep it consistent even if your muse isn't. The truth is, she's probably just playing hide and seek. And maybe it's us, the cynics, hiding behind all our too school for cool platitudes that are refusing to admit we've been found out. Godspeed, virtuosos in training.
To see these videos early, without ads, join the lineup here on YouTube. You just need a YouTube account, and for $1.99 a month, you click this little join button and sign up to get early and ad-free access to 4 monthly vlogs: the surf vlog, the violin vlog, the Masala vlog, and the family vlog. Thank you very much.